This video is going to walk you through the process of creating a Google form and how to put that Google form inside of your Moodle course. So when you log into your Google page, you'll see your picture icon, and then you'll see what I call a tic-tac-toe box. You click on that and you'll look for forms. Now, if you haven't used forms before, you may have to scroll down a bit to find it, but it's a purple, for now it's a purple box that says forms. To create a blank form, if you've never created one before, you can click on this, and then you'll type in the name of your form. So we're creating a sign-in form for this course. You can describe what you would like to be in there. Also, it says this form automatically collects email addresses for Nash Community College users. If this is for your students, I recommend leaving this on. Unless it's some type of anonymous survey or something that you don't want to know their names. But this requires them to log into their student email account. So if they say the form doesn't work, make sure when they email you to tell you the form doesn't work, look at their email address. Usually they say @Gmail or @outlook.com or something strange like that. Make sure they're logged into their Nash student email account. And that's good because that way people outside the organization won't find it accidentally. So you have several types of questions. You have, these are multiple choice questions. So you can type in like you would a quiz. What's the question? 1, 2, 3, 4. You can add other, so in case you don't remember, they may have something else they want to complete. When you click in the title box, the sign-in form comes up. It will name it whatever you type in as your title, and it'll put it up here. But you can change that name at any time. The other questions you can choose from are short answer. This is when you're just like asking for comments or something open-ended. Last name, first name, those types of things would be. So if we did last name, then you would want it to be a short answer. It wouldn't be a paragraph because the paragraph doesn't require that. To add another question, you click on this plus icon and it adds another question. If you like this question and you wanted to do, let's say we had last name, now we want to do first name, you can click on duplicate, and then we can just change that to first name. That makes it easier. Another option you want to consider is the required button. So you definitely want their last name, and you definitely want their first name, but you may have a question that you don't require. They cannot click submit until that has been selected. All right, so you can go through a series of other questions like drop down if you wanted to list the name of the classes they're in. So if you wanted to say what class they're in, if you left what class you're in as a short answer question, you're going to get all types of different formats of the same class, and it makes it harder to sort when you get the data. So a lot of times you'll want to put that information in there. All right, so this is just how you get started. When you're ready to preview the form, you can click on the eyeball here, and you'll see what your students see. If you want to share it, you click on send. Send will allow you to get send it directly through an email, or you can use a paperclip link, and you can shorten the URL or keep it long, and then you copy that, and that's what you will put into your Moodle course. So I'm going to close this, and I'm going to go to a form I've already created before. So I'm going to click on this Forms Home button over to the top left, and I'm going to create another sign-in form for another class, and we're going to choose the hair coloring session, sign in and sign out. And this makes it easier to duplicate this instead of continuing to recreate the same form. The way this form is designed is set up in different sections, and based on the answer they answer in section 1 will direct them to either sign in or either sign out. So I'm going to create a copy of this for a cosmetology class. So I'm going to click this button here, and I'm just going to make a copy. It will be called make copy of this, but I'm going to change that to cosmetology 111. Click on OK. change this to 111. And now I'm going to put this in my cosmetology course. To do that, I'm going to click on send. It doesn't matter if you shorten this or not, but I'm going to do it anyway because I just like shorter URLs. I'm going to copy this. I'm going to go into my course here, turn editing on, add an activity or resource, add a URL, name this sign in, and sign out. And then I just copy and paste that URL I just created for that. And then save and return to course. When I click here, it's going to create a sign-in form, and it's going to pop up so the student can complete it. Now, one thing I didn't do that I want to change is it opens it up in this window. So I'm going to change that so it opens up in a new window. And just go back to Edit Settings and go to Appearance and do New Window. The advantage of that is it doesn't take them out of Moodle. Well, it does, but it takes them to another tab. And so they have another tab, but I can quickly go back and forth between the two. Now, the way this is set up, when you go into Share Settings, you can click on Settings here, and it restricts people to Nash Community College. As I mentioned earlier, anyone outside cannot do that. You collect email addresses automatically. You can turn that off here. You can allow them to edit submissions after they finish. We do not want to limit to one response because if they're going to use this form over and over again, they're going to need to resubmit. So how do you see your responses? You go to responses and you don't see any yet. But there's this little button here called Google Sheet. When you click on that, it will create a new Google Sheet that will list all the data. So each question you asked is going to list it in the column. And this sheet is created for now. So when you go to questions and their responses, you'll always see this. You won't be prompted to create a sheet anymore. A little trick that's extra credit for this video is if you want to know when someone has submitted a form, you can go to Tools, Notification Rules, and notify me when a user submits a form, and you can either have it emailed to you right away, or at the end of the day, you'll get a report of who's submitted it. So I can click on Save here, and now my inbox will receive an email that says people have responded to your form. So hopefully that's a helpful way to get you set up in creating a form and putting that form inside of your courses. And you can move that form to the top or wherever you want to. It's just like any other URL.